Hello, my name is Erica Shea, and you are tuned into Slay, where each week you and I turn our attention inward and reflect on ideas intended to help move you into a state of inspiration and empower you to take decisive, proactive action toward achieving your goals and reaching your highest potential. Today, we are building ever so concisely to the conversation that we had last episode, addressing one key way to help you protect your peace and stay in your power that I only briefly scratched the surface on, which is using your emotions as feedback to guide your actions. If you are someone who could use a mental model that really does help you reduce just the negative impact of stress, then today's message is for you. Let's get into it. Your energy is sacred. What you give your attention to is what you give life to. This is something that we have talked about to no end on this show. What we focus on expands. With that in mind, you would think that by now it would be common sense to just stay vigilant about the thoughts that we entertain from moment to moment and what we allow to steal our joy. But we are human. We are creatures of habit. I know I am for sure a creature of habit, and I am guilty sometimes of just not staying in my power. I have to just stay super mindful. And sometimes, especially when we're going just through a low season or moving through a negative trend, it can be especially challenging to just stay focused on our end goal or just to remain faithful to our optimism. We can't change what we don't first acknowledge and accept, right? So I also want to just say this before even getting into this. I'm not sitting here at all telling anyone to just be delusional and to not actually own the reality of their circumstances. We have to be able to take an honest look at our lives and ourselves. Whatever comes up for us, we should absolutely accept as being real. But it is not something that we have to claim for ourselves. Like, you can recognize that something isn't ideal without that meaning that the whole of life isn't ideal. Does that make sense? Like, when one bad thing happens in your day, it doesn't mean throw the whole day away, but it is also something that is easier said than done, right? It's valid and justifiable to make judgments. We all do. It is something that is important when it comes to discerning what to give our energy to and what not to give our energy to. But there's always a line with everything. We talk about this all the time. It can be challenging trying to keep everything in balance, making those judgments and being discerning where is the line. But in order to kind of counter that, I ask, how important are your dreams to you, your goals, your desires? How important is your why to you? You see, the more you start learning how to use your mind and the more you start to identify things that you have attracted based on your pattern of thought, and the more vigilant that you become about what you allow yourself to entertain for even a moment, you fully stop entertaining literally anything that can steal your attention away from your desire because you know it's risky and it is not worth it. And your needs, they are a top priority. Triggers then turn into warning signs because at that point, once you've reached that place, you've cultivated for yourself just this sense of poise and control and just this ability to not allow just anything to disturb your calm anymore. It's like I discussed with using questions as an added layer of protection before allowing yourself to become vulnerable. Consider using your triggers similarly. When you feel yourself experiencing just this strong emotional reaction, catch yourself and use the trigger as a cue that whatever is in turbulence is something that requires attention and needs resolution, like a wound that needs to be cleaned and treated before it can heal. So think of it this way. When we're in a storm, we seek shelter, right? We want something durable that can keep us protected. Now, see our bodies as our shelter. They are our shelters. We're in a storm season of life. Depending on the beliefs that you have and how deep those thoughts are rooted, those beliefs are rooted, maybe you make it through the storm unscathed and just a little bit of roof damage, okay? You've lost some shingles, but that's really about it. Maybe you weren't as lucky though, because your building material wasn't as solid or as high quality. So you lost the entire right side of your home and some really valuable items. All right. Your thoughts, those are your building material. They are what you are made of and they are what fortify you. These storms, though sucky, right? They're great at highlighting areas of vulnerability and letting us know where we could stand to do some renovations. They help reveal cracks in our foundation. And you know what? Maybe when the house was originally built, it was built with the best material available at that time. But now there's newer, better material, and this material, these upgrades aren't even going to cost you. Would you want them? Yes or no? If you knew you'd be better for it. If the storm revealed cracks in the foundation and made you aware of any rot, decay, mildew, just pieces that they weren't really going to give you the ability to continue to build on, would you be better if they were gone? Whether it's a low season that you find yourself in or just a moment you feel yourself slipping from best self center, it becomes beyond crucial to protect your energy and just stay mindful of what you are giving your attention to. Is it to the lack of your desire, feelings of frustration or negativity? If it is, this is when you draw a line in the sand with yourself and you remind yourself of your priorities and you make it a point to treat your triggers and undesired emotions and do it swiftly, just like you would with your literal home. So, what are some things that you could do to help you gain control of your reality and just manage your emotions in a way that supports the manifestations of what you want and the wishes that you are trying to bring into fruition during any trying time? One thing, and the first thing that I would start with, is to simply identify the emotion that is coming up for you. Remember our 5 C's to creating change. Check on it. Feel yourself. From there, start taking slow, deep breaths to help calm your body and mind. We are psychophysical beings. So as you do this, your body will begin to calm your mind. And by doing that, your mind begins to calm the body further. And it's cyclical and it just continues. The second C to creating change, if you remember, is to confront. But in this case, you're just coming face to face and choosing to be present in the moment with it, that emotion, accepting the emotion without judgment. It is there for a reason when you're feeling triggered. The last thing that you want to do is suppress what's showing up for you, which only makes matters worse. After, you'll want to counter it with a positive affirmation or affirmative prayer, hence the treat in your Treat Your Triggers. A prayer I personally love when I catch myself trending downward like this is, I release all fear and doubt about my life, knowing that it is guided to success and happiness by the higher power of my universal mind. I release my mind, body, soul, and spirit into the renewing power of the universal mind within me. From there, celebrate. Give yourself a hug. Congratulate yourself for choosing you and your higher self. She is you and you are her, and y'all are making positive changes. Finally, the last C is for commit, which if you've been here with me in each episode, it's a cue for you to recommit. And what you're recommitting to here is your vision, that big why that moves you forward each and every day. See it and feel it. A take 5 moment, if that, but it's powerful. If it helps reaching out for support, do it, but just be mindful of the conversations that you're having and the focus of it. You want to make sure that the nature of the engagement, it's constructive and productive, and it doesn't reroute you right back in the opposite direction. Set boundaries to protect your emotional well-being. So once you've taken 5 and you've done that work, set your boundaries. Remember, what you give your attention to is what you give your life to. And your emotion is what supercharges your manifesting ability. So you have to be extra cautious with these moments where you're triggered. Treat your triggers as soon as they rear their ugly heads. Stay in control and in your power. Know that it takes time and practice in order to manage your emotions. I remain a work in progress, so I can assure you that it does. But the last thing I want to encourage you is to just be patient with yourself. And I mean the exceptional amount of patience that would be needed to not let normal triggers steal your optimism and your faithfulness to your end goal. That's the same kind of patience that you're going to want to demonstrate toward yourself. Remember, anything of value is going to cost something. So don't let short-term pain cost you your long-term gain. You've got this. If you enjoyed this episode and feel there may be people in your life or within your community who would benefit from today's message or any of the content, please be sure to share it. As always, continue to show up for yourself in a major way.